Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We're excited to have Tim Stipp and Joe Doyle from ProCat presenting on how to build an incentive program for distribution centers. And as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And if you do have any questions during our presentation, please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Tim to kick off our presentation.
Okay, thanks, Angie, and thanks to everyone taking time out of your day today to join our webinar, How to Build an Incentive Program for Distribution Centers. I'm Tim Stipp, Director of Marketing at ProCat Distribution Technologies, and I'll be joined later in the presentation by Joe Doyle, our Director of Sales at ProCat. So today's agenda we put forward today. We'll introduce you to ProCat, introducing ProCat, the importance of warehouse productivity. We'll lay out the business case for incentive pay, and we'll start introducing this incentive program. What does that mean? Talk about the elements of a successful program, and Joe Doyle will talk a bit more about introducing IncentRate by ProCat. So a bit about ProCat. The company was started in 2001. The mission is to improve warehouse operating performance in distribution centers. We work with distribution centers across the country. As you can see by the map there, we support warehouses in over 40 states. The leadership team here has been doing this quite a while with collectively over 150 years of warehouse operations experience. And our solutions are modular. We call these modular warehouse solutions. ProCat offers 14 modular solutions that support critical warehouse functions like picking, receiving, cycle counting, truck loading, and delivery. Our ProCat's flagship order picking solution is called PickRight. Altogether, these solutions enhance the capabilities of your current software. We call these modular solutions because you can customize the solutions based on your needs. So talk about the importance of productivity here. We'll set the foundation with operations, warehouse operations, the backbone of distribution companies, the people that get it done. Distribution centers have the straightforward yet complex task of moving goods from the manufacturer to their customers. And on some level, this is very simple, but we know how complicated that can be to deliver the right product to the right customer day after day. When operations are disrupted, worker productivity drops, errors increase, customer confidence dips, and bottom lines are impacted. But when warehouse operations run smoothly, costs are more predictable, and customers are not unhappy. Over time, warehousing needs to adjust and adapt to new products, programs, and situations, and having a committed and focused workforce will help keep operations running smoothly. And a bit more about labor. It's one of the biggest expenses for warehouses, as you probably know. Nearly 50%, 48.9% as a percentage of your gross margin. This is according to IFTA, International Food Distributors Association. And we argue the pick shift is the best place to start an incentive program. The percentages we have here, the warehouse workers who describe themselves as actively disengaged from their work, 20% of warehouse workers, and 50% from the scallop poll, doing just enough to get by. The typical warehouse worker compensation is based on hourly wages, which contributes to a culture where employees are all treated the same. Your top performers are not recognized differently than your bottom performers. Employees are motivated to accomplish the minimum work deemed acceptable for the job, this backed up by those stats that we just mentioned. So distribution centers are continually looking for ways to maximize its productivity. And again, hammering home the point, having a committed and focused workforce will keep operations running smoothly. The end goals here: make labor more efficient, and an effective incentive program can help you do that. A plan that is time-saving and labor-saving is important. Distribution centers want to optimize workflows, automate processes, and reduce waste. And to touch on this pick shift mentioned here, the pick shift is the best place to start. Why picking? Well, pickers do very measurable, very consistent work that is easier to set a measurable incentive plan that will benefit your organization. And we'll explain that a little bit further in the presentation. Let's make the business case for incentive pay. We want to optimize employee performance, improve job satisfaction, retain employees and reduce turnover, attract new talent in a tight labor market, and align picker goals with management objectives. So when pickers are incented to pick, when pickers are incented to pick faster, they will have higher productivity. Additionally, when employees are incentivized, there's a higher what we call a care factor. Employees will let you know what barriers that are keeping them from doing their jobs effectively. And again, having a committed and focused workforce will help keep your operations running smoothly. Look at what to incent here. In warehouses, just about anything can be measured can be incentivized. And today's digital environment allows distribution centers to collect and analyze data like never before. Common operation metrics to measure, you see here: pick rate, error rate, safety, and attendance. When we tell you over the years the most effective incentive paid plans focus solely on driving pick rates and employee productivity, or we would tell you that incentive paid plans focus solely on driving pick rates and employee productivity, but we would caution you, only do this if you're confident that orders are being picked accurately. If you're picking orders with paper, for example, we would not encourage you to put the incentive plan in place, because encouraging your pickers to pick faster will drive errors, and you certainly don't want to do that. Picking errors are the most expensive thing you could possibly happen in distribution centers. And here's a scenario. You pay someone to pick an order, pay someone to load an order, pay someone to deliver an order, and then pay for it all to come back with zero margin. This is expensive only. This is only to implement an incentive plan you're confident that your orders are being picked accurately. Accurate orders, effective incentive plans. And on the flip side of this, our quote here: when this is done right. Quote from Steve Douglas, president and CEO of Douglas Companies: when my company implemented our pay for performance plan, our productivity improved 17%. They've got 30 plus pickers in that building, so you can imagine the impact that's had on their operation. 17% productivity improvement is equivalent to 17% payroll reduction for their picking staff. Very significant. Homegrown incentive plans. Let's take a look at this may sound familiar here. There are many companies we talk to about either considering or have homegrown incentive plans. These current plans are often managed with Excel spreadsheets and have several criteria. Those plans have become convoluted because management implements with the hope that they would be cure-alls for everything that's wrong with the distribution center. The result is employees will have little or no understanding of how the incentive is actually calculated or how much they can actually earn from each pick they make. Over time, these incentive programs get obsolete and they should really be updated, but management, very understandably, is hesitant to change that program because you don't really understand what the impact will be on your workforce. So a properly structured pay for performance incentive program can help you improve and reduce costs significantly for any company that has a significant picking staff in place. All right, and I'll turn this over to Joe Doyle to talk a little bit about starting an incentive program.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, everyone. Joe Doyle, Director of Sales from ProCat. Using the toolbar that you have for GoToWebinar, by a show of hands, who is using an incentive program today to run their operations? Nothing. Okay. All right, we'll get back to that later. So, starting an incentive program, what do you have to look out for when you want to get an incentive program started within your organization? Well, you've got to understand your current results. Before you can move forward, you've got to understand where you are. So you want to determine your current performance levels so you can set your goals out there that are achievable. You don't want to put goals out there that are so hard in the sky that nobody can reach them, because you're just going to you're not going to get the motivation that you're seeking with an incentive program. So when you set your goals, you want to use reliable data. This data is going to come either from your labor management systems, or if you've got a picking system such as the ProCat PickRight, you can use the data right from that solution. But you definitely need reliable data in order to set the program up. You want to add about 10 to 20% to your current levels. Doing so will be something that's achievable by your pickers that are out there and allows them to see what it is to make additional money by incenting them. And these are obtainable goals. And you want to also set the expectation that the program is going to evolve. It's not going to stay stagnant. And possibly every 90 days, there may be a bump up in what is the rate for achievement. So you guys aren't just going to get up and start making extra money and kind of grinding to a halt with any productivity enhancements. You want to continually move the bar so that you're motivated to move even faster. One of the key things, you want to remove the bias within an incentive program. You want to incentivize by area and product line. You don't want to give different incentives to different people. This will just demotivate people. So you want to have it a pretty balanced solution out there. And then you need to decide how basic or how detailed your plan is going to be. Obviously, in the beginning, you want to start very simple, and you want to make it clear goals with clear incentives so your folks know what they're doing, know what they need to achieve in order to move forward and get more money out of the incentive plan. So considerations for a successful program. What do we need to look at to make sure that if we implement a program, it's going to be successful? Well, first of all, we need to balance it. We need to have attainable goals that are not too difficult. Again, we don't want to demotivate people by setting goals that are so lofty they'll never be able to get there. You want to check for unintended consequences. We caution you to start slowly and adjust as you grow. Things are going to happen and you're not going to realize them until you start looking at your data. So you definitely want to start slowly so you don't introduce new issues into your processes. You want to have inclusivity. This needs to apply equally to the entire workforce, the program that you're setting out. You need to have transparency. You want to have clearly defined goals and metrics out there and explain to your employees why they are being incentivized the amount that they are, or maybe why they're not being incentivized at all because they're not meeting their goals. As long as it's clearly and defined and well explained, this should be not a factor. You want to have multiple levels of your incentive program. This leads to higher performance leads, this leads to higher performers getting higher incentives. So you don't want to just have one incentive level and your top guys get there and then just kind of fall off. You want to have them continually striving to hit more incentive levels so they're picking faster. You need to have measurability. Key metrics are important so you can see the impact overall of your incentive program. You want an incentive program that is going to lead to productivity enhancements, yet not derail you in terms of extra orders that are being held up because of mistakes, et cetera. You need to have flexibility within your organization. Change is obviously going to be hard. Putting in an incentive program at first may seem you're going to have some resistance. So you need to be aware of the struggles that are out there. And then by far the key thing is that you want the incentive program to pay for itself. The new program should provide productivity increases which offset the overall program costs. So you want the labor savings to be more than the incentive program pay that you're paying out. So quickly, we're going to go into the IncentRate system that ProCat has developed. IncentRate helps to create an incentive program that drives increased productivity based on the individual pick rates for an area and the goals for that area. It's a very easy system to implement, use, and understand, and it really helps your pickers understand how they are being incentivized, what they're being paid, and why. It's pretty easy to understand, so if pickers meet their target pick levels in their specific area they're picking in, then they're rewarded with an incentive. When pickers achieve higher targets, they get more incentive. So very basic program, easy concept to understand, but it is something that needs to be explained to your picking staff so that they know why they're being paid what they are being paid. And IncentRate enhances our picking solution called PickRate. With PickRate, you're scanning UPC codes, so you're confident that your orders are accurate. So one of the key things is that you want your pickers to be as accurate as possible, 99.9% and higher. And once you're sure that they're going to be hitting that accuracy rate, then you can have them step on the accelerator and start picking faster and becoming more productive. And then you need a reporting suite out there, which is included with IncentRate, to help management and payroll monitor the program incentives. Again, you want to make sure that your picking is accurate still, while including incentives to get them to pick faster. And then we see a 10 to 20% overall increase when an incentive program is administered properly. We've got a distributor story. One of our distributors, Gummer Wholesale out of Ohio. They're a large convenience store distributor with 40 pickers, so a pretty sizable operation. They utilized a manual incentive plan using Excel in the past. So it took over 2 hours per week to calculate the incentives using the Excel program. The Excel program is very formula-based, and the employees didn't know exactly why they were getting the incentives that they were. Once Gummer implemented the IncentRate program, they were able to customize their targets in the incentive programs. The result, management of the incentive program decreased from over 2 hours per week down to about 10 minutes per week. So a real big sizable gain there for your management team. Overall productivity increased 15 to 20%, and the savings completely paid for the program within 2 months. So that's key there. You want to make sure, again, that you're not paying out more in incentives than you're saving in labor rates. So Chris Hampton, who is one of the management team there at Gummer, said the IncentRate motivated my workers to make management aware of anything that's keeping them from picking faster because it directly pays or impacts their pay. So you're getting continuous improvement there, and the pickers are helping you with that. So let's go in and do a quick wrap up here. Is an incentive program proper for your company? Well, if you're not getting the productivity you need, then I would say that an incentive program is something that can definitely help you. Once you're confident that your picking accuracy is up over 99.9%, then you want to increase your efficiency and reduce your overall costs by adding productivity incentives. The plans need to be clear and concise and benefit both the company and the employees. And you want to have a committed and focused workforce that will help keep operations running smoothly. So let's talk. We'd like to talk to you about your challenges that you're having within your company and determine if we can help you improve those processes. How would your company be different if every order you delivered to your customers was perfect? And then we want to help you take advantage of our free ROI analysis to see just how much we could save you with an incentive program. Any questions out there, Angie?
Thanks, Joe. No, none have come through at this time. If anybody does have any, please feel free to type them in and we can get them addressed for you.
And if there are any questions that come up after this, my email address is right there on the screen, jdoyle@procatdt.com. That's ProCat, D is in distribution, T is in technologies.com. and we're happy to answer any questions you might have, set up a call to go through what your company is experiencing, where productivity is, where your incentive programs are, and see if there are efficiencies to be gained with the help of technology. So we appreciate everyone's time today. Angie, I'll give it back over to you.
All right. Thank you, Tim and Joe. Appreciate you presenting today. And for everyone on our webinar, or if you're watching on demand, thank you for taking the time out to join us. And I just want to let you know that we do have a new round of training workshops available for you and your team members to attend. You can visit our training workshop page at inovia.com/workshops for more information and to register for the training workshop that fits your role. And we do have more webinars coming up. This afternoon, we have Target Team presenting on Beginner's Guide to Target. And tomorrow, we have Naveen Reddy from Dynamics eShop presenting on Expand Your E-commerce with eShop Solutions. So check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's inovia.com/events. And have you heard of our podcast yet? It's called the Inovia Conversation, and we just want to encourage you to listen to the selection that our hosts, Steve Waltz and Jeff Pergolski, have provided to us. And you can learn about all the different podcast platforms to listen to on our podcast page, and that's inovia.com/podcast. So check out that selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. All right, well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again, Tim and Joe, for presenting. And we look forward to seeing you soon on another Inovia webinar. Take care, everyone.